How to become great at dating. The first date. Hi guys, so this is the first part of a new 3-part series that I'm doing on my channel, and it's all about how to go from dating someone to being exclusive with them. If that isn't you and you're not interested in getting a girl to date you and to become exclusive with you, but if you're just interested in the topic and you just want to learn about it, then that's cool as well. But this is primarily targeted at women who are interested in making a woman their girlfriend, or a man who's interested in making a woman his girlfriend. Okay, so we're going to go into 3 parts. So this first video is about getting on a first date, what you should do on the date, and also what you should do at the end of the date to ensure you get a second date, and how you need to behave around the days around that first date, so that's before and after, in order to make sure that you can maximize the probability of you getting a second date. The next video, what you need to be doing on dates after the first date, so your second date, and basically all the dates that are leading up to you becoming exclusive. And in the last video, the 3rd video, we will be talking about those moments that really impact whether or not you will be exclusive with the woman that you like. So those are the 3 sections. So let's get into the first one, which is all about the first date and getting on a first date. Firstly, let's talk about how to actually get a date. Now, you might already have someone in mind, or you might be on online dating, doing that kind of thing. Now, of course, at the moment when this video is released, we're going through the pandemic, so perhaps this might not be an opportunity for you. So perhaps this might not resonate very well with you at the moment in these current times. But I will try my best to work around that and see how we can implement, the current situation within this as well. So how to get a date. So if there's already a girl on your mind, so someone perhaps you go to school with them, perhaps that you go to work with them, you need to show your interest if you haven't already. So the way that I would do this is, if obviously this current situation, then perhaps the best thing to do would be to call her up or to message her. And basically you need to say, I think you're gorgeous. I'd really like to go out on a date with you. Are you free at such and such a time? On such and such a date. You've got to be really specific. You've got to already have something planned in mind. So you personally might know, well, I am actually free on Saturday at 7 p.m. I'm going to ask this girl if she wants to meet up at 7 p.m. on Saturday because I really like her. I want to get to know about her. I think she's really beautiful. So you put that across when you are calling her. You say, look, I would really like to meet up with you. I think you're beautiful. I'd like to get to know you better. Make sure that you put your attraction in there. Obviously, don't say about how she makes you feel or anything because that's too premature. Don't go into feelings or anything like that. Just simply say that you're attracted to her and you want to get to know her better. Are you free on Saturday at 7 p.m? And then you just wait for what she says. So if she says yes, that's great. If she says no, then it's probably best that you, if she says no but doesn't give you an alternative time, because sometimes the girls are just busy, they've got something going on, like they've got a family dinner planned or they're doing something else or they've got a lot of work on. But they give you an alternative date, that's good. So if she gives you an alternative, that's a good thing, that's a good sign. But if she says no, then it's best to leave her and then move on to the next girl. Don't get too hung up on it. But if she says yes, that's great. So let's just assume she says yes, she wants to meet up with you. Or you come to a point where you meet a girl and she says yes, she will meet up with you on a day that you have suggested. So during this time, during the time before you meet up with her on that date, you don't really want to talk to her. You want to make sure that you just say to her, well, that's great, I'll see you on Saturday, I'll see you then. And then just don't say anything to her until you meet up on a date. Because the more you talk to her, the more you have these long drawn out conversations, the less chance she is going to want to actually hang out with you and meet up with you. Because when you do meet up, you've got nothing to talk about. So make sure that you save everything for the actual date. Try and refrain yourself from talking to her during those days. Of course, you don't want to be a cold fish. So if she does reach out to you, then of course you can, say, hi, I'm great, how are you? And then try and keep it short. And just say, look, I am really looking forward to seeing you on Saturday. I'll talk to you then. After you've had a little bit of rapport thrown back and forth, So just keep it to a minimum, keep the chatting to a minimum, and if she reaches out to you, then of course talk to her, but if she doesn't, then don't reach out to her. Just assume the next time you're going to talk to her is going to be when you're face to face on your date together. Now, like I said, we're going through the pandemic right now, so one of the things that you could do is you could just ask to have a Skype date with her, or a FaceTime date with her, or a Zoom date with her. And basically what you can do is you can, tell her to get some drinks or something, or get some food, and you'll just have a sit down dinner together over Zoom or Skype or whatever. It depends what your situation is like across the world, because in the UK right now restaurants and stuff aren't open, so it would be probably best if you're in the UK to do like a Zoom, to do a Skype, or to do a FaceTime with them on that day. But if you're in a country, or you're reading this from the future where the restaurants are now open, or you're in a country where the restaurants are open, or whatever, then just assume you're going to meet them there, right? Obviously it's good when you are picking a time and a place to make sure that you also, when you pick a time, don't just put it into the girl's lap. One of the things also as well, but about setting a date, is make sure that you come up with the place, because if you just keep on saying to her, oh, what do you want to do? Where do you want to go? It's going to be like, oh, I don't know, where do you want to go? It's just going to keep on going like that. So it's best to have a place in mind. So let's say you really want to go to Nando's or something, or I don't know what an alternative like that would be in any other country, but just say a restaurant. And if she's like, no, I don't eat that kind of food, do you mind if we go here? Then that's cool, obviously, but try and already have a place in mind that you can suggest to her straight away. So yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good thing to do. So let's assume everything goes well. Maybe she's reached out to you, maybe she hasn't, but you're there on the date and she shows up. So what do you do on your first date? Well, it's good to make sure that you don't be a downer. You just try and be positive and uplifting. Try and make her feel comfortable. Don't do many sexual innuendos or anything like that. Try to avoid any serious topics. Try to avoid anything that's too immature that'll make you come across as a bit of an idiot or anything. Just talk about things that are fun, positive, uplifting, things that she would enjoy talking about. The best way to find out what she likes to talk about is, of course, to ask her lots of questions. So ask her about her life, ask her about her friendships, her parents, ask her about, where she grew up, and ask her what movies she likes, what music she likes, what's her favorite things to do, like what's her hobbies, just ask her everything. Because obviously if you really like this girl and you're really interested in her, then you're going to be absolutely fascinated and enamored by her. So of course you want to know absolutely everything. And if you need to get better at talking to girls, then I also made a 3-part series on how to talk to girls, which I would highly suggest if you aren't very good at communicating, you're not really 100% sure on how to communicate. If you want some help with communication and talking, then I would suggest that you get How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. That's a great tool that you can use on how to actually get better at being better at talking, better at communicating, and getting people to like you, right? So just make sure it's fun, and if this pandemic is over and you can go to lots of different places, if you really like this girl, then try and speed up the dating process by going to different places. Don't go to cinemas or anywhere where there's lots of loud music, or just where you just can't talk, because you want to be able to talk to her, because you can probably go to the cinema on like a 3rd date, perhaps even a 2nd date at a stretch, but most of the time you want to make sure that the first date is just a place where you can be face to face and have a chat. But that doesn't mean that you can't go to other places. So perhaps you meet somewhere to have dinner, and then you go somewhere else to go for a little walk together, or you go like somewhere to do like a bit more of a physical activity, like going bowling or something. Do go to have lots of different other things planned for the date, so you can speed up the dating process. Because if you go to 3 different places, or 4 or 5, it will make the experience much more interesting and intense. And it will be like you've been on 5 dates in the space of 1 evening. So that's really cool. So make sure that you try and do that. But don't worry if not, because there's still a chance that you could still get a 2nd date with her if you don't do those things, especially if she has a high attraction for you. So don't worry too much about that, especially if you're short on change at the moment, which I'm sure a lot of people are. But just try to keep your primary aim is to give to her, to make sure that she has a great fun experience with you. So you want to be talking about good things positively and just be focused on her, because the song is true, girls just want to have fun. So just think of ways on how you can give to her, how you can make sure that she enjoys the experience of being with you. So the next thing I want to get into is what to do at the end of a date. Now, it's best not to ask about seeing her again unless she brings it up. So if she brings it up, you can say, okay, yeah, that would be great, we can meet up again. Are you free next Sunday, or are you free whatever? If she does ask that though, I would personally set it up so it's not the next day or anything. I would set it up so it's perhaps a week. So oh, I'm really busy this week and I'm not free tomorrow, but I can see you again this time next week, or I can see you on Sunday next week, or something like that. So it gives the anticipation. So there's more anticipation, and there's more can't wait to see them. And there's more days to miss each other. So only arrange a second date if she brings it up. If you see that the signs and signals are there, so if she's looking at your lips, if she's getting really close to you, then you can hug her and you can kiss her. But only do it if the signs are there. And the best way to tell if a girl wants to kiss you is that she'll probably keep on looking at your lips. Or if she wants to hug you, she will just be getting really up close to you and wanting to, be close to you. And you can tell. It's just notice her body language. So what if she doesn't bring up a second date? Well, you just leave it. You just wait a few days before you ask her out again. Don't message her straight away afterwards unless she messages you. So if she messages you let's say an hour later to say she had a good time, you can say, oh thanks, I had a really great time too. But perhaps don't reply straight away. Perhaps reply the next morning or something like that. Don't reply to her straight away. But make sure that it's positive and don't be cold. Just be like, oh yeah, I had a really great time too. It was great seeing you. And then what you want to do then is you want to wait 4 or 5 days after that before you ask her out again on a second date. Okay, so that's the place where you want to get to. If she asks about another date, then of course you can arrange another date, but make sure it's a few days in advance. And if she doesn't, then wait 4 or 5 days before you ask her out again. And if you do that, hopefully you'll get the second date if you did everything right and you've raised her attraction level in you. One thing that I want to sort of end this video on is that you can do everything right. You can do absolutely everything that I said in this video, right? But there's still a chance that she might not like you, because sometimes attraction just isn't there. You don't have the chemistry, you don't click. And it's hard to find people that you really, really do click with and connect with. So don't be disheartened if she doesn't want to see you again after the first date, because attraction isn't a choice. You're just not her type. It doesn't mean that you're never going to be no one's type. It just means that this specific girl just didn't like you enough or wasn't attracted to you enough in order to go out with you again. So it doesn't mean that you did anything wrong, because you probably didn't, especially if you did everything I said in this video. But it might just be simply that she's just not that attracted to you, and that's not bad. You're not going to be everybody's cup of tea all of the time. So don't take it to heart if she doesn't. But if she does and she agrees to go on a second date with you after you've messaged her after 4 or 5 days, or she talks to you about it before then, or she says she wants to meet up with you again after the second date, after the first date, that just afterwards, then that's a great thing. So I hope this video has helped you. Bye guys.